Dodge on the corner of the South Loop and Highway 281 in Stephenville. I'm Casey Hogan alongside the 25th year head coach of the Tarleton Texans, Lonn Reisman. It's Lunch with Lonn. There's plenty of free food, refreshments, and Tarleton athletic apparel to give away later in the half hour. So if you're driving around town, you got nowhere to go, swing on by. We'd love to have you. Lunch with Lonn is sponsored by the good folks here at Bruner Motors. We thank them for their support in making the show possible. Coach, good to see you. Congratulations on another outstanding start to the season.
Thank you, Casey. It's been a year where we've had a lot of inexperience, and we're just trying to still build our basketball team into a contender. And it's been a lot of ups and downs, peaks and valleys, but we're 8-2, and I think that's the big thing.
Yeah, let's talk about that inexperience for a bit, Coach. Last season's squad finishes 27-6 overall. You win a share of the Lone Star Conference regular season championship. You lose 4 starters. You add 10 new players to the roster. Yet you're still picked to finish first in the Lone Star Conference. Does that show you how much respect there is for your program?
Well, I think there's a lot of respect. I don't know how sensible they were as picking us first, but I mean, when you lose all these type of players and they automatically think you're going to win the conference again, I think it's a tradition. We've always been at the top of this league year in and year out, as you know, and last year was we had a very good team last year, but we have a long ways to go this year because of the experience. I think you and I were talking before the show. Coleman started 5 or 6 games last year. Word didn't start all year long, and those are really the only 2 players that had any experience coming back to our basketball team this year. I think the real experience of why we're winning games is the fans behind me. Sure. Because they've all seen us play for years and years and years. Maybe they can, they give me some good ideas on how to coach them on the floor.
So let's get everyone caught up on where your team is. As you said, Coach, the Texans currently 8-2 overall, 2-1 and tied for second in the Lone Star Conference now. I know you don't want to talk about this, but we have to. You kick off the season against Southwestern Assemblies of God on November 12th, an NAIA school. And I know a lot of fans came to Wisdom Gym thinking this is going to be a blowout, easy season opening win. Of course, if you scouted that team like your staff did, you knew it was going to be a tough season opener.
Well, yeah, if I'd have known they were that good, we shouldn't have scheduled them. I'll tell you that for the first game of the year. But, it's been a kind of a blessing in disguise. I knew how good they were because I went over there. We watched them at Midwestern, and Midwestern beat them by 3 points in the last seconds of the game. And I thought to myself, "Wow! I mean, that's a better basketball team than we had anticipated." And the NEI has some different rules about getting players eligible that we can't get eligible at the NCAA level. So they've done a great job. They had a good team. But the problem is, Casey, is that we were up 17 points in that game. We were up 33-16 in that game. And if you've noticed our games this year, we went back and looked at our games, and I know a lot of the fans have seen it. We have led in every game in double figures this year. Every game we've been up 13, 14, 17 points. Even over at Angelo State, another game that we lost, we were up 19-6. That shows you the inexperience of our team. We can get up. We have not learned how to finish a full 40 minutes the other night. So those are things that show you the inexperience, that this team has the capabilities of winning games, and but we have to learn to finish games too.
How tough is that to fix as a head coach?
Well, it's going to take some time, and there's no doubt about it, because you try to look at the answers of why you're up. We're up against Kingsville the other night, 42-29. Have a 13-point cushion. I think there's like 9 to 10 minutes left in the game, and all of a sudden you look up there with 1 minute to go, or less than 20 seconds to go, and you're up 2. And so it's enough to put gray hairs on me. There's no doubt about it, because it's not an easy fix. Your players are still learning each other. We're still learning the rotational things defensively. We're still learning our offense. We're still learning what each player can do. And so it's a very competitive league in our men's basketball area. Kingsville is very good, and top to bottom, I was talking to the newspaper yesterday at the Fort Worth Star. And he was saying, it looks like the league is very balanced. It's very balanced top to bottom. There is not a bad team in this league. Any team can beat any team on any night. So when you don't bring your best game with you, you're going to be in trouble.
Your team responded well to that season-opening loss. You go on a 4-game winning streak, beat Texas, Permian Basin, and East Central. You enter your first Lone Star Conference matchup against Angelo State on the road. And I know every loss you'd like to have back, but talent-wise, is that a game that you should have won?
Well, I feel like that's a game we should have won. There's no doubt about it. I mean, we led in that game again with 5 minutes to go. We were up 45-41. Right down into the last seconds, we had a chance to win the game, and we didn't get it done. And again, those are things that inexperience brings to your team. We just don't have a lot of experience. We have every player next year returning but one right now, and we're hoping that as they go through the wars of the Lone Star this year, we're building into the future. But that has nothing to do with it. We want to win this year. And I think that you know, we came back, and we came back from that loss against Abilene, who was really playing well at the time. They had beat West Texas at West Texas 59-58, and we were looking them right in the face. And so you know, it's what we're talking about. Do not take any game in any night where you think you're just going to walk in there and win.
And was that win over Abilene Christian really a turning point for this season? You finally got Pegues and John Cathy Macklin to be pretty good down low. You held them to 8% shooting in the first half.
Well, I think that when you lose a game like we did at Abilene, you tend to come home and have some certain meetings in rooms where you kind of let people know what you think about what their play is like. And I think that that's something that I did when I came home, that I knew that we had to get players to buy in, and we needed players to play like I want to play. And through those 3 or 4 days, I thought it really got better with Adarius, and it really got better with John. We found a little better chemistry. And we've kind of fed off that.
That would spark another 4-game winning streak, capped off by Wednesday night's 6-point win over Texas A&M Kingsville. And Coach, to say that game was ugly, at least in the second half, would be an understatement. But I'm guessing in Lone Star Conference play, you'll take an ugly win any day.
Well, there's going to be some ugly ones. There's no doubt about it, because when you get into conference play, Casey, everybody knows everybody so well. Kingsville, Pete Peterson's been down there forever.
16 years.
16 years. I know what Pete's going to do. Pete knows what I'm going to do. It's going to be ugly. I mean, it's going to be the same thing when West Texas comes to town. Rick and I probably play the ugliest games in the Lone Star Conference because all we do is beat on each other. It's absolutely
I think there was like a 40 last year. It was like 40-something to 30-something.
It was a physical, beat-up war down there and against us, and you're going to see a lot of that happening right now because you cannot back down in this conference. This gets physical. Defenses are tenacious. People know each other. They know how each other coaches. And so look for a lot of that kind of games because it's going to be some wars before the season's over.
And that's where we stand today with Coach Reisman's squad at 8-2 overall and 2-1 and tied for second place in the Lone Star Conference. We'll take a 1-minute break, and when Coach and I return, we'll preview this week's games against Incarnate Word and Cameron. You're listening to Lunch with Lonn on the Tarleton Athletic KSTV Radio Network. KS with Lonn, I'm your host Casey Hogan, and it's time now for our Texan Player Spotlight as we welcome senior guard from Baltimore, Maryland, Brian Word to the broadcast. Brian, good to see you. Thanks for being here.
Good. I'm happy to be here.
Now, you and I have something in common. You might not know this, but I just moved from Washington, D.C. to Stephenville in August.
Really?
Yeah, now I'll be fair. I went to school here, lived here for a long time, moved to D.C. for 4 years. I have to tell you, it was quite an adjustment coming from the Baltimore, Washington area to Stephenville. Was it a tough adjustment for you?
No, not really. I went to school, junior college in Kansas, so it was real slow. But I like it here. I really like it here. It's different.
I'll tell you the great thing about Stephenville, Texas is the prices compared to the Northeast. I mean, you can go out to eat for $8 or $9 versus in D.C. or Baltimore, $20. And you have to admit, the people are a little bit nicer here than the Northeast.
Yeah.
Now, you're the lone senior. We'll get into basketball, I promise. You're the lone senior on the roster. You've got 10 new faces, 4 true freshmen. Have you felt any pressure to not only lead, but show these guys what the tradition of Tarleton basketball is all about?
Yeah, coming in last year, it was easy for me because we had 4 or 5 seniors.
Yep.
We had Wes, Fabo, Webb.
Webb has been here forever. Now, talk about these 10 newcomers. I mean, you've got 3 guys starting that are part of these 10 newcomers. You've got Upchurch coming off the bench, second leading scorer. Which one of these guys has made the biggest impression on you? Hate to put you on the spot, so I kind of did. So. They're not listening either. So.
I would have to say Adarius. He's been playing very good. He's been big inside. He's given us a presence down low.
Had 13 points against Texas A&M Kingsville. That was a career high for him. And I really thought, I don't know if you agree with me, I thought the turning point early in the season is when those big guys down low against Abilene Christian, Pegues and John Cathy Macklin took over.
Yeah, John's playing with a lot of confidence right now.
Now let's talk for a minute. This is Lunch with Lonn. I'm losing my headset because it's wrapped around my foot. This is Lunch with Lonn, and we've got to talk about your head coach. What have you learned from Lonn Reisman, not only on the court as a player, but off the court as a man?
How to be a man. He's taught me a lot. I talk to him every day. You know, he taught me to be a leader. He's on me, he cheers me out. I love it.
What? No.
I love it. It gets me going. You know.
Coach Reisman, cheer you out? I don't see that around here. Now, you came from Brown Mackey Community College. You said that's in Kansas.
Yes.
Well, what was the big factor for you to come to Tarleton?
Every game, I look up and I see a purple shirt. I'm like, purple shirt. And it was just, I came here on my visit, and it was the right place to be.
Great fan support for a Division II program.
Definitely.
Now, I talked with Coach earlier about the season opening loss to Southwestern Assemblies of God. I know I saw you after the game, and it looked like you took that loss pretty hard. Was that a motivating factor to really get back in the gym and practice and work even harder?
Yeah, because it was a learning experience. You can't come out and be up 15 points and just stop playing. That's what we did.
Now, we talked earlier about the big guys down low, Pegues and John Cathy Macklin, and I want to do something. We'll get away from basketball for a minute. Doc Newsom, the sports doctor, came up with a nickname for Warren Webb. He called him the mayor. So I've been coming up with some nicknames for Tarleton players, and if you'll let me, I want to kind of throw some of them out with you. John Cathy Macklin's very simple. We just call him JCM. That's very easy. DeAndre Upchurch, we call him the Deacon. The Deacon Upchurch. You like that?
Yeah, I like it.
Okay, Michael Harge, our color commentator, our guy that does color, Mike Young, actually worked with Michael Harge's aunt in Georgetown, and he actually emailed Mike's aunt and asked him what his nickname was in high school, and his nickname is Flash.
Flash.
Have you heard that one yet?
Yeah.
So we're going to call him Flash. Any other nicknames that we need to, I didn't grab my pen and write them down. Any other, do you have a nickname?
Word, B-word.
B-word? Yeah, yours is pretty. I was going to call this segment a few words with word. Well, I thought that might be. Career goals, post-basketball career, what do you want to do?
I've been looking into that. I've been doing a lot of research into the kinesiology field, just fitness. I was actually thinking about changing it to physical therapy because I have to stay in the summertime and I have time to actually get into that and actually do something that I like.
Great kinesiology program at Tarleton. A lot of good faculty over there. Brian, you're about to get into Lone Star Conference. I said you already have gotten into Lone Star Conference competition. Kingsville, you're going to have 7 consecutive Lone Star Conference games. How tough? I mean, last year, did you really open your eyes to competition in this conference? Did you know it was going to be that tough?
They told me coming in, but I'm like, it's going to be okay. But you have to play hard every night, 100%.
And Russ Reisman about to jump in the broadcast here. Brian, thanks for your time, man. Best of luck the rest of the way, and to you in the future. Appreciate it.
Thank you for having me.
That's senior guard from Baltimore, Maryland, Brian Word. When we return in 1 minute, Coach Reisman will rejoin the broadcast, and we'll wrap up our first edition of Lunch with Lonn right here on the Tarleton Athletic KSTV Radio Network. And welcome back to the lobby of Bruner Dodge in Stephenville. This is Lunch with Lonn. I'm Casey Hogan alongside the 25th year head coach of the Tarleton Texans, Lonn Reisman, as we get ready to wrap up our first broadcast from Bruner Dodge. And as we always do, Coach, great crowd. First show, my goodness, might be the biggest crowd I've seen today.
I really appreciate everybody coming out, Casey. It just means a lot to me personally to see the support that we have here in our basketball program and our whole athletic department. You always see the faces that support us so much, and really appreciate everybody coming out here. I appreciate Terry and Susan getting everything ready out here today. Troy bringing out here stuff out here today, and we even have our big time golf coach out here today. Even
Coach Stoll.
Yeah, I mean, so
one of the best golf coaches in the country.
Best golf coaches in the nation. Got Pat out here, one of our track coaches, and Rhett's out here helping. And I appreciate all the boosters out here today, and we really appreciate people coming out here today.
So to say thank you to our live audience, as we do each week, we'll give away 2 purple Tarleton athletic shirts. So, Coach, if you'll do us the honors and announce our winners.
All right, first one's going to be Stephanie Sims.
Stephanie, come on down.
Won a shirt.
Congratulations, Stephanie. Thanks for being here at Bruner Dodge. Our second winner, Coach.
And Don Jones. Don's got a few shirts. I'm going to promise.
Yeah, that's what I say. He probably has a closet full of purple and white.
Don's all purple. There's no doubt about that.
So Stephanie and Don, congratulations. Thank you to our entire live audience here at Bruner Dodge. If you're listening, you didn't come out this week, hope you'll be here next week as we do this every Friday at noon.
I really appreciate it.
Coach, a bunch of athletic announcements. Let's go through the next broadcast of Tarleton Texan and Texan basketball. Tomorrow afternoon from San Antonio, both squads taking on the Cardinals of Incarnate Word. Texans tip off at 2 p.m. and boy, are they off to a great start. Coach Ernst's squad. Coach.
They're doing a great job. He's just got a great nucleus of kids that play hard together, and they're fun to watch, and he does a great job. Him and Misty and Morgan, they got a great staff, and they're just gelling right now, Casey, and they look like it. They're playing real well.
Coach Ernst and the Texans tip off at 2 p.m. The pregame show starts at 1:45, followed by your Tarleton Texans at 4 o'clock. And remember, we always do a 15 15-minute pregame show prior to the Texans games, and you can catch the associate head coach Chris Reisman pregame interview during that 15-minute pregame show. So make sure you tune in to KSTV FM 93.1. You can listen online across the world, Coach, at KSTVFM.com. The next home game for the Texans and Texans Wednesday night as Cameron University comes to town. The women at 6 p.m., followed by the men at 8 o'clock. A bunch of things going on, Coach. It's dollar night, so even people as broke as you and I could come to the game.
Come on out. You can get everything for $1 over there.
You can get a hot dog, nachos, whatever you want. It's $1.
And no doubt see 2 great basketball games, Casey. And we appreciate the support, and we hope people continue to come out and support us. And we're playing hard for this community, playing hard for this university, and we're going to continue to do that every night. And we do that by the great support that we have.
No doubt. It's also Henderson Junior High night. All Henderson people admitted free. It's Spart night, so if you wear your Spart jersey to Wisdom Gym, you'll be admitted free. So a bunch of stuff going on Wednesday night. Hope to see you out at Wisdom Gymnasium. Remember, for news and updates regarding Tarleton Athletics, text the word Texans to 69302 on your mobile device. That's the word Texans to 69302. The Coach Ronnie Hearn radio show every Thursday at noon from the lobby of First Financial Bank in Stephenville. Had our first show yesterday, Coach, and great show. Great crowd there.
Great show.
Make sure you join Mike Young and Coach Hearn as they discuss all things related to Tarleton Texan basketball. That's every Thursday at noon from First Financial Bank, and of course Lunch with Lonn is every Friday right here from the lobby of Bruner Dodge in Stephenville. Once again, we want to thank Bruner Motors for hosting Lunch with Lonn. To Dwayne and Greg Bruner, the entire Bruner family. You won't find too many supporters of Tarleton Athletics like the Bruners.
Great supporters for us, Casey. We're very fortunate to have supporters that we have in this town and in this community, and the Texan Club is so vital to our athletic department right now. It's one of the great reasons that we've been so successful in all of our sports, top to bottom, is the great leadership of the Texan Club and the great support of the community that backs us, and not just support-wise, but financially.
I want to thank CC's Pizza for providing today's food. I want to thank Stephanie Day and David Davis over at KSTV as they were scrambling around making sure everything was set up for the show. We appreciate what they do. Last but not least, thanks to our entire live audience here at Bruner Dodge and to each of you listening on KSTV, the Mighty 93. Coach, time for our final question. When you look at this basketball team and where you are 10 games into the season, what's the biggest area that you need to improve on to compete for a conference championship?
Well, I think Casey is just getting familiar with each other on the floor, finding the right chemistry. We're still not anywhere near peaking this team right now, and it's probably good at this time of the year because you try to win games when you're not playing perfectly, you're not playing well. So we have to find ourselves in the next 3 or 4 weeks, and if we can win games while we're looking for ourselves, and that February mark comes around and everybody starts to see that we're blending a little better, we're playing a little better, we're starting to understand what we're trying to do a little better, you're going to see us play even better.
And I know I don't need to tell you, you really need to get that first road win because you haven't had a lot of experience.
No, we've only been on the road once this year, so that's a big thing too, is getting on the road and playing well on the road.
Coach Reisman, thanks for your time. Hopefully you'll get that first road win tomorrow against the Corner Ward.
Thank you, Casey.
That's going to do it for this first edition of Lunch with Lonn. For the 25th year head coach of the Tarleton Texans, Lonn Reisman, I'm Casey Hogan saying so long from Bruner Dodge in Stephenville. Until next time, have a great Friday, everyone, and we'll talk to you tomorrow afternoon from San Antonio, Texas.